what's everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, sponsored by Dark Future Systems, the best custom computer experience for all your gaming needs, creative needs, whatever it might be. You get $100 off your entire build. Use the code CPPOD at checkout on their website or literally during the entire build. I mean, wouldn't you want $100 off a custom computer? Yeah, I would too. So that's why you can go there. Also, just enjoy. It's good stuff. So yeah, thank you. Now it's time for a feature presentation. We have Kenedi and Hillary from the band Fight on Sight on the podcast. We're going back to the Canadian hardcore scene once again. We, on this podcast, talk about the Canadian hardcore scene, how it is much more welcoming for women, people of color, LGBTQ communities, anybody from any different persuasion or background, wherever it might be, compared to where it once was, why it is such a positive thing, and why Fight on Sight thrives on that kind of positivity. Are you finding about another great Canadian hardcore band? Because this is where it is. This is where the place to be. Oh yeah. Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, we are back on our Canadian hardcore spotlight. We're going full in on it, and this is another band we're bringing on. And so far, we've brought on all male bands, and right now, we've got two ladies right here that are in the Canadian hardcore scene that are absolutely kicking ass, taking names, and we get to talk to them all about it. Their EP Find Out released this year, and I'll say go check it out, because if you like hardcore music, this is definitely something you want to get into. So please welcome Kenedi and Hillary from Fight on Sight to the podcast. So ladies, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Hi.
It is fantastic to have you both here, and especially with a lot of the bands I'm bringing out from the Canadian hardcore scene, I really don't know that much about you. I've been trying to find out as much as I can about you, and I really am struggling to figure out any kind of history. So give me the backstory. How did Fight on Sight start, and how did you get to where you are today? I want to hear the whole origin story, like full-on superhero mode right now.
Okay. Well, we're fairly new. We've been at this basically a year now.
Yeah.
My husband and I, my husband's our drummer, actually started writing riffs, I'm gonna say like June of 2022-ish. And then yeah, we found Kenedi and kind of just started playing, and things have gone really, really well, and we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, originally there was a different vocalist at the beginning when they first started. It was just like the three of them, and then everybody was like super hyped about it. They were showing us like their like living room recordings and stuff like that, and it was very cool. Everyone was super into it. Like, we're like, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? And then they ended up leaving the band, and as soon as they left the band, everyone just kind of reached out to me, and they were like, do you want to do this? Because I had like mentioned in passing that like, oh, it would be super cool to like be in a band, because I've never done that. I've been going to shows for like 20 years, and now I'm like maybe it's my turn. But yeah, they reached out to me, and I was like, hell yeah, like I had never done it before, so didn't really know what to expect, but now we're here.
Yeah, it's been a learning curve. None of us really know what we're doing. Like, my husband and I haven't really had a band like this before. So we're kind of figuring things out as we go.
I mean, I think that's a lot of bands are doing typically right now, especially from what I've heard in the Canadian hardcore scene, is that you're just kind of figuring out as you go along. Just, you're kind of getting into the music, you're loving every bit about it, and you know that this local scene is popping off as well. So you're just kind of learning on the fly and seeing what happens, what doesn't. But at the same time, think about all the other bands that have ever come up, all the biggest bands in the world. They had to start at some place, and a lot of them, when they started, they had no idea what to do. One of my prime examples is think about a band like Bring Me the Horizon. You know, who knew anything about, you know, how to market yourself on social media back in like 2005, 2006. No one knew what they were doing. They just winged it, went for it, and they absolutely killed it. And now look at where they are. So there's a lot of trial and error that happens. But when you have a supportive scene around you, it's a lot easier to hit on those positives. And if something doesn't go right, you're able to recover from it really quickly, because you have the support not only of the fans, but the support of the other members of the scene in bands as well.
Yeah, and I think we've said it since the beginning. We do this because we have a love for the genre. Like, I wouldn't be busting my ass the way I have been over this band for the last year if I didn't absolutely love hardcore and love what I was doing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Makes a lot of sense. Now it kind of leads me to this question. What is it about hardcore music that just draws you in? Why are you so into it? Because of course, with such a scene that's popping off right now, with not only just the Canadian scene in general, but across the world, just hardcore music really getting more of a spotlight on it. What is it about hardcore that just draws you in like, I want to be a part of this. I want to make this kind of music. This is mine.
I don't know. For me, I feel like I don't know how to word this without sounding like a wiener, but it's like very like, I don't know, it's like feral almost. Like Hillary always says, like when we go to shows, like when she's like ready to mosh for the night, she says she's going in gremlin mode. And like that's kind of like what it is. Like it's very like just like emotionally charged, like angry music that makes you just kind of want to beat up your friends. And like when you're going to work every day and like you're tired and like everything is just very like monotonous and the same, it's kind of nice to like let loose in that way. And like some people will go to like a club and do that kind of thing, but we're not club people. I'd rather like beat up my friends than go dance.
All right, I can definitely get behind that as well, because I'm very much the same way where, oh, on a weekend, what do you want to do? You want to go out to the bar? You want to go drink? You want to go to this club? What local show is going on right now? Is there any show that's going on where I can just go ape crazy on people and just go in the pit and have a blast? Of course, am I trying to kill people? No. Are we trying to hit people as hard as I want to? Absolutely. And if someone gets knocked down, the golden rule's in effect. If someone's on the ground, you pick them right back up.
Yeah. If you get hit, you take it like a champ.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of have to. And I also love the fact that you just said going gremlin mode. Just the kind of concept behind it's just like, I'm ready to go do this.
No, there's a funny picture that our friends in Scum Collective have of me, and I'm like about to like start killing people, and I'm literally like hunched like a little gremlin, like my arms are back, and I'm like, who am I gonna get today?
I feel like you got to take that picture, put on a t-shirt, and then have it say gremlin mode, and just have just like. Hey, we've seen some ridiculous merch ideas sell very well. I mean, remember like 2009, 2010 with all the crazy metalcore like swamp monsters, cartoon style that was real popular. Heck, I've seen, I've seen a band take a picture of the lead singer's cat, just put it on a t-shirt, have it say cats in metal, and it's like their most popular seller.
That's good. We should do that. Just get all of our animals together and just take like a nice family photo. And then
just a big old Fight On Sight logo and then all the animals instead. I mean, look, there's a dog that's popping in right now. I mean, he's hearing us right now. He knows that this is a good idea. He already wants in. He wants his moment in the sun.
Yeah, Blue wants to be a star.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, Blue, come on over here. You can be the star of your own merch line with Fight On Sight, and it's going to be the most popular merch line that they ever sell so far.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
as you both continue, as the band continues to grow, who knows? Maybe you expand that merch line of, crazy family dog photos or cat photos, or you go full of all just the whole entire, gremlin mode t-shirts and just have those pop off. And next thing you know, everyone's gonna be walking around Canada, everyone's gonna be going to these shows, and half the people are gonna be wearing t-shirts that say going gremlin.
Well, we reached out. I don't even know what happened with that. We were trying to do like stickers at one point, and we found this. Can we not?
There's an artist out of Toronto who like her whole thing is she draws gremlins, like a yassified gremlin kind of thing, or like a goblin.
Yeah.
And we reached out to her to make Kenedi and I into gremlins to like put on a sticker to like start sticker bombing around. So I think that's like our next like gremlin merch probably, but a t-shirt's a good idea.
Yeah.
Gremlin mode.
I mean, you got to start somewhere too, but if you work with that artist, I mean, if you get some on a sticker, then you can go from, the picture that was taken of you full on gremlin mode, but then you can add those characters that are created into the merch line as well, into the shirts. And again, it's kind of when you think about it, everyone that has band shirts out there, there's got to be something that just sticks out to make you want to go and get them. I think about like Ice Nine Kills with all the horror movie stuff that they do. I mean, heck, I saw them put out this year for their like their Christmas stuff for their merch line. They did a shirt with Festivus from Seinfeld. I'm like, okay, that's the shirt I'm getting this year because that's just hysterical. They turned the episode into a horror movie. Like, I want that. I am into that. I'm getting that. But it's something where there's got to be some attraction to it rather than just, the plain black shirt with the logo on it, which I'm also a fan of, but there's always got to be something that's going to be a little bit more connective to it that people are going to be like, I want that because of that exact same thing. Gremlin mode or the gremlin characters on it just stands out so much where I mean, I would look at that and be like, okay, that is awesome. And even if I wasn't going to get a shirt, I'm like, it's still stuck in my mind seeing that shirt out there and wanting to go check out the band just because that merch is so cool.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah.
If you guys are able to make that though, please send me a link where I can go get one of those shirts.
We'll hit you up for sure.
Because I will wear the shirt on the podcast and everyone might be saying, why is he wearing a Gremlin shirt? And be like, hey, there's a story behind that. So it's absolutely kind of cool. And when it comes to the whole entire thing with the Canadian hardcore scene, one thing I've been talking with a lot of people about, and a lot of the response I've gotten is why they're so happy about it is because it's so just this place where everyone can come, everyone can feel like themselves, everyone can really get into it. And one of the bands I had on was talking a lot about how there's people that are from all different backgrounds. Everyone's coming in and everyone's playing these songs. Whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're just from different races, whatever it might be, everyone's coming in having this spot where they can absolutely feel a part of that. Now, I'm always talking to men when it comes to this, but I want to talk to you two specifically about this from your perspective. When it comes to the growing Canadian hardcore scene, is that something where you're seeing it where everyone is accepted, and are you feeling that way in your position?
Yeah, I mean, Kenedi and I both come from the days of like no clit in the pit, right? So we're very used to having to make space for ourselves. And I think it's been really cool lately. Like last week I went to a Monday night show, Steel City show here in Hamilton. And I can say pretty confidently that half the crowd was femme or femme-bodied, which is really cool to see. And I wasn't moshing because I had a broken nose, but I was standing at the back looking out in the crowd and seeing like at least half the pit was women, at least half the showgoers were women or femme-bodied people. And it's not something that I've ever really seen before. And it's really cool to feel like, more people like me or like that 15-year-old kid who was at the All Ages show feel safe, because I definitely didn't have that coming into this. So yeah, it's a very like women are welcome. Like we have a really big LGBTQ plus presence here in Ontario as well. And there's lots of POCs or people of color in our community. And I think the only people that aren't welcome are assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't be a rapist and we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree on all those points. I think like as long as everybody that's coming into it has the same kind of mentality, like you're here for the same reasons kind of thing, then like there's no issue. Like if you're just coming in to like start shit or like act a fool or like cry, like I'm good. But I've seen a lot of people coming in that are like new to what's going on and like watching them like learn the etiquette and like learn their ways. And like there's like this one girl who I absolutely adore, and like I've been watching her. That sounds really creepy. She's been coming to our shows for a while, and like seeing her like awkward kind of pit moves at the beginning to like where she is now, like throwing spin kicks and like bossing the dudes around in the pit. Like it's like her progression has made me really happy. So and it's just kind of like neat to see like the younger generation coming in and like being like feeling safe enough to like kind of let loose, because it was even like, I mean, even like as women, it was like definitely like don't step foot in the pit kind of thing. But even as like the younger generation of like men as well, like if you were going in and like trying out your new moves or whatever, like you practice in your living room all day and you're like, I'm gonna let this out. You go in, and then like some dude who's been doing it for 5 years longer than you, who's like twice the size, 3 times the size, he's just gonna come and dummy you. And like that still kind of happens every now and then, but I feel like it's done with a little bit more love behind it.
Yeah,
I
watched Seth, like one of our friends, Seth Nielsen, who's an artist, a local artist as well.
The best.
He's amazing. I watched him dummy some kid, and the kid got up and thanked him. And it was like, hey man, it's hardcore. I get it. I'm learning. Thank you. Which I thought was really cute to see.
That is really kind of cool to see. I'm not going to lie, because I mean, usually with the pits I go into, I'm definitely more the metalcore side of things. So a lot of those hardcore moves are necessarily not happening. But when you go see some of those hardcore bands and you go see some of those more like beatdown style bands, of course, I got to know that this stuff's coming. I got to know the spin kicks are coming. I got to know the karate moves are coming. And in that capacity, it's like, okay, if I'm going to jump in the pit at that point in time, I got to be prepared to potentially take a foot to the face, take a fist to the face. And if that happens, you can't be mad about it because that's just the style. That's just what's going on right here. And having that mindset, it's like, okay, we'll see what happens. Even if I don't want to get in at that point, letting the space for those people to do that stuff. And it's always kind of cool to see how that dynamic ends up working, just because, yeah, I've seen some kids get dummied before. I have dummied some people myself as well, just given the fact that maybe they were doing it at a time where you shouldn't have been doing it. But it still stands to reason where you're creating a scene and you created a time for a place where everyone feels like they can come in, that they can be a part of this. And even if they're brand new and are going to the pit and trying some stuff out, and yeah, if it's, stuff that's like, okay, we get the ideas there, but it's just not there yet. It's not going to be somewhere you're going to have a bunch of people go and kick you out consistently because, oh, they're just not a part of the cool kids club. It's going to be like, no. You're here because you want to be here. You're here because the music is connecting with you in such a powerful way as it is for us as the other individuals as well. So instead of being, the elitist side of things, let's continue to foster this and grow this so that, now new people coming in can feel like they're a part of this and can feel eager enough and feel comfortable enough to jump into this and not be afraid. That women can do it, that people from the LGBTQ community can do it, that people of color can come in and not feel like this is only one type of place that people can go. Have it open for everybody, because then anyone that feels any sort of passion towards the sound and towards the music can come in and find a million other people from a million other backgrounds that are all different, but they all are here because of the same reason, because they want to be here and they want to enjoy this with everybody else who wants to be here.
Well, and that's the thing too, is without them, there wouldn't be shows. We wouldn't have an audience to play to. We wouldn't have people buying our merch, that kind of thing. So while me being old and grumpy, sometimes I'm I just want pure violence. But sometimes I like seeing, as long as the kids are out there and enjoying it and having a good time, and I can feel their energy while we're on stage, and I can see that they're really enjoying it. That gives me some joy, because I'm cool. I've reached them on a personal level kind of thing. And like I said, if it's not for them showing up, we wouldn't have what we have.
Yeah.
And I get that too, where it's, at times you just want the pure violence of it. You just want to feel it. But if the crowd is going to be reacting a different way, but they're going to be reacting a different way that is positive, it's nothing against you. It's actually a positive where people can still get together and connect through a live show, through Fight On Site, and really enjoy your music, but just maybe not, try and kill each other every step of the way. Maybe during a song, everyone's in the pit just doing the most aggressive Macarena possible. And while it might not be just pure violence, that's a moment where the positivity is flowing so heavily that when people leave the show, that's what they're going to remember from the pit was, yeah, we had a great time the rest of songs, but this one song for Fight On Site, we all decided to do the most aggressive Macarena possible, and it was one of the coolest things ever because we had the whole entire crowd just going, ah, 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 ah.
I've done that during an RD.
We definitely before. Have.
Yeah.
No. Reality Denied, another group of homies, another local Ontario band here. They're amazing. We always joke that they're ass shaking hardcore. So as much as everyone around us is beating each other up, Kenedi and I are on the side throwing ass.
Yep.
Because it's just so groovy. You can't help it.
If you can't help it, then just roll with it. Again, it's the kind of that exact same concept where you're not beating each other down, but you're still enjoying the song and still enjoying the set positively in such a different way where, yeah, they're going to be looking at from up on stage and being like, well, maybe they're not beating each other up, but they're throwing ass down to the songs, and that's what we're talking about.
I know Dylan loves it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guys in that band are fans of the ass throwing.
Pretty soon you're gonna go see one. You're gonna go see him play a show again. They'll be like, all right. For this song in the pit, we're not going crazy. We're just throwing ass out there. Let's go. You know what? I might have to bring those guys in the podcast too and just literally give them that idea, and we'll see what happens. Just talk them into it. I would be so down for that too. And then not only that, but also see that live and be a part of that live as well. Because every time I hear about this Canadian hardcore scene, every time I talk to bands about it, it's just the positivity in the energy that comes off from talking about it, from asking whoever my guest is about it. It's just something where it's infectious in my mind, where it's like, I have to get out there. I have to go and see this in person. I have to be a part of this because of how insanely cool this is, where so many people from so many different backgrounds, from so many different places in life are coming together and just absolutely enjoying. Like, I got to be in on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of love here. That's for sure.
A lot of love there. So hopefully, because I talked with Rob from Rust, and I talked about possibly coming out like early in 2024 for a weekend, literally to Hamilton, just to see what the hell is going on, and just Friday night, go to a show, Saturday, see what happens, but Saturday night, go to a show, and then Sunday, possibly try and get back to the U.S., be crossing Border Patrol, be like, sir, you look like you just got into a fight. And I'll be like, yeah, and it was worth it. We'll just have some fun with it as well. But when it comes to your music specifically, when it comes to the hardcore style that you do with Fight On Sight, what would, like, when it comes to writing it, when it comes to lyrics, what are the main inspirations that you have behind this? So everyone else that's like, hey, we like Fight On Sight, now we know where they're coming from. But for people that don't know who you are, this is the time for them to get into them right now. So what are the inspirations when it comes to writing your music from both the instrumental side and from the lyric side?
Instrumentally is kind of like, Hillary and Tom wrote our first few songs because I was like still not part of the band at the time. Like, they had, I think, like 2 or 3 songs when we 4?
Yeah, 4, I think.
4 songs when I joined the band that were already like kind of there, and then I just had to like write lyrics for them. But then as a group moving forward, when we started like writing together, our whole kind of philosophy thing was we like to write music that we would want to listen to. So like, we're kind of writing from a place of like, what am I looking for? Like, when I listen to a band, and like when I go to a show, like what kind of things do I want when I go out? And it's just kind of like, I don't know, we're just making music that we like to dance to, which is, I think, the main thing behind like the instrumentals and stuff like that. And then like lyrical content and all of that. I've never, like, I used to write poems when I was a sad emo kid in high school, but like I had never like written lyrics or anything like that. So it's kind of one of those like reach down and pull up the trauma pants kind of thing, and just kind of write from that perspective. But yeah, no, a lot of it's all kind of just like personal experience stuff and things that I feel like people have have similar experiences and stuff, and just kind of don't know how to word it. And like, even me, I'm terrible with words, so the fact that I have this many songs written with lyrics is amazing. But like with Hunted is my favorite song out of our set list. Like, it is like top tier for me. That whole song is pretty much just about like predatory men in the scene, which I think is like very prevalent, and it like came from like a personal experience place, but it reaches so many people because everybody like knows of or has like been victim of or something like that with just like a bad dude. And it just kind of I don't know, the whole song is just about like hunting them down and making them feel sorry for what they've done, kind of thing. So it's just, I don't know, I feel like it resonates with a lot of people. But and like, I know, like, I've seen a lot of women at our shows like singing along our lyrics and stuff like that, and that I feel that when they do that, because I'm like, yeah, like you're I get the energy from it, kind of thing. Like you hear what I'm saying and you're like, yeah, I've been there, or like I've had a friend be there or something like that. But I don't know, it's just
it's an empowerment thing.
Yeah, it's an empowerment thing.
Cheesy. Without being too cheesy, it's a bit of an empowerment thing. Like,
it's kind of giving me like a soapbox to stand on and yell about stuff. So
scream into the void.
Yeah.
Scream into the void and actually connect with people on that as well. Because again, when it comes to the instrumentals, when it comes to that hardcore style, you're gonna have more of that raw, aggressive emotion that's behind it. And when anyone's listening to it, that's what you're picking up on. So again, it's going to feel like, whatever topic you're going to be talking about, it's going to have some connotations of some sort of like feral gremlin mode, pure violence. And when you're talking about that, that specific song, it's something where in the scene, if you're a woman, it's very likely that either someone that maybe has gone through something like that. Unfortunately, you may have gone through something like that yourself. And from the male perspective, it's like, maybe you've probably heard stories of people that have done this. And it's not just, people in a local scene, but like on a, a worldwide level. We know stories of band members who've been predators, who have been, going after certain people, who've been trying to groom certain people. And they're always, after a while they get found out and they just get the boot and get kicked out of the scene really, really quickly when that happens. But for a lot of people, it's just like, it's really hard at times to get that to happen because sometimes people don't believe you. Sometimes it's like, okay, where's the evidence? It's their word against theirs. There's a lot of issues going on there. But when you write a song about that and write from your own personal experience, from the male perspective, it's like, yeah, we probably know people that have dealt with that. And we can also get down to the music as well because of how aggressive it is. From the female perspective, if you've dealt with that personally, it is an empowerment move because now you have a voice and this aggressive tone behind it to stand on it and bring that emotion out to it. So while they're singing it back to you during your shows, it absolutely hits every step of the way. Plus, you're not writing it specifically like to just hit on one area. You're writing from your own perspective. Like you said, pull up the trauma pants and just let it all out and see what happens. So you're writing the music for yourself specifically. And because of your experience, because of the way you're writing this, the way you're singing this, the way it's being presented to the audience, you are connecting with them on such a deep emotional level where, again, you are giving them that voice through your own experiences, through the music you're making for yourselves. That's the key. And that's a huge piece, I think, of why, when Rob brought up, I said, give me 3 bands to check out. One of them was Fight On Sight. And I was like, okay, if Rob's saying it, I got to go check him out. The other one that he talked about were Rockpile, who I recently had the podcast, and Bad Bet. And I see you both wearing Bad Bet t-shirts. So I'm like, okay, there's something going on here with these bands, but you're hitting on this. You're connecting with this. That is a huge positive.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. That's the goal, really.
It kind of has to be, especially because I was listening to a lot of Buried Alive from what you guys have both put out there, from what the band has put out there. And that was one I really enjoyed myself specifically. I know it's your most popular on Spotify right now, but that was the one I enjoyed the most. Just a minute and like 12 seconds of just aggressive energy. And the way that it flowed was something that I'm like, this is kind of reminding me of a aggressive tone of like Rage Against the Machine, Fever 333 style, but also kind of groovy at the same time too. I'm like, this is out of sight, but for a minute and 12 seconds, you packed a punch in that song. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we like to keep things short and quick.
Yeah, short and sweet.
To the point. Thanks. Yeah, Buried Alive was, I think, the first song we wrote before we really had any like idea of what Fight On Sight was going to be. And like Kenedi said, we wrote a lot of stuff just with the perspective of like what makes us want to dance. And my husband and I listened to a lot of that like very energetic, upbeat, short and sweet, fast, kind of punchy kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where Buried Alive came from.
Yeah, when I saw that minute 12-second runtime, my first thought was, I'm hoping to get something that's going to make me want to move and make me want to go ape crazy in the pit, similar to like Counting Worms by Knocked Loose. I'm just like, I'm hoping this is what I'm going to get. And in terms of the overall like feeling during the song and after it, that's exactly what I got here.
Oh, thank you.
One thing I
if any sounds like over maybe like 2 minutes and 30 seconds at like the very most. But I think everything's at least under. Yeah, I get tired. I smoke. I need to breathe. So,
and I just have those built-in breathers there, and not have a 6-minute like power ballad, hardcore ballad where you have to just belt out and just afterwards, all right, that's it.
Yeah,
we're done. Tapping out. I'm on it. See you guys. One thing I do want to compliment, especially from listening through your EP, was when it comes to the production of it, because I was really impressed by how clean everything sounded. But then from the drumming perspective, it had a lot more of this just like raw, aggressive, kind of underproduced tone to it. But what it did was it really built in that whole entire embedded sound within hardcore that really funnels in there and really connects with people. So I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling that raw, aggressive, feral gremlin mode approach to it. But when it comes to the guitars, when it comes to vocals, everything was produced so crisply where it's like, oh, now there's a lot here. There's a lot here to really sink your teeth into. But because the drums were not produced in that way and still had that sloppier feel to it, it just sounded like this was a hardcore song that was just coming out and allowed that aggressiveness to come out throughout the whole entire EP. So I do want to give you all credit for that, especially in terms of how this EP was produced and how it really pulls out that aggressive sound while still sounding so incredibly crisp at the same time.
Yeah,
that's all Andy.
Andy Dimitrition. He's the producer that we work with here.
He's been with us since like day one kind of thing. Like he did the demo that we released, and he just did our EP, and like he's like a very good friend of ours. He's also in Reality Denied, but he knows us on like a personal level and stuff like that. So when we go and record, like it's just kind of like a big like chill sesh. It's never like, it's business obviously, but it's not like all the time. Like we like shoot the shit, we have beers, we like have pizza, we take joint breaks, like all of that kind of stuff. Like it's just super chill, and he knows what we like, what we want to sound like, what we want the music, like the final product to sound like, kind of thing. So it's just having him be super easy to work with us has given us the ability to put out like the high quality that he's given us.
Yeah. And I think going into it, when we were discussing how we wanted the EP to sound, we'd said we want to make something that's really, really pissy. Like we want something that's going to sound like super pissy and probably piss a few people off. And I think we really achieved that. And I think Andy in particular really gets like our vision and the sound that we want to go for. And he makes it really comfortable for us, which is really great. Like when we first started working with him, none of us, well, other than me, but none of us had really tracked in a studio before. We didn't really know what we were doing. Kenedi was only in the band a month.
Yeah.
So for him, he like took us under his wing, and he kind of showed us the ropes. And I think he was very patient with us. And I think because of like the amount of love that we have for each other and for hardcore, we've created a really cool product.
I would have to say so, because from other conversations I've had in the podcast from other artists as well, not just specific to hardcore, but all around, it's when that whatever artist you are, if you have a producer that knows exactly where you're trying to direct your sound and where you want to go with it, it is like just like another member of the band in that capacity. It's something where as you're working on things, as you're going through it, from the production side, if something's not hitting, they know it's not hitting, but they also know exactly where they want to go with it and where you want to go with it. So when it comes to the final product, it's not something where, oh, you had this one idea, but we had this other idea, and now they're clashing. And now you got to keep working and figure it out, and that's where the stress comes in. But if basically he's inside your heads and putting out the product that you guys want, especially when it comes to the whole entire band, everything you want with the production, everything you want with the sound, and want to present to people, you're making it as easy as possible on yourselves, where you can work and you can get down to business. But then it's very easy to have those, drink breaks and smoke breaks and potentially, shenanigan style breaks just to see what the hell happens. But it also, again, those kind of breaks too can really help him get inside your heads, so that when it comes to the production side, even more so knows, okay, this is what we're going for. This is the style we're going for. This is what they want to go for on this song. So if this is the topic of conversation, if this is the topic of the song, let's make sure that the production side for the instrumentals is absolutely hitting on that emotional journey, so that when you have those moments where everyone in the pit, in the crowd, is singing your songs right back to you and really feeling it, it's that empowering feeling that you know that your creation and what you wanted to make is absolutely, again, hitting people in every capacity, both lyrically and also sonically through the instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So one thing I do want to question is, when it comes to, of course, Canadian hardcore scene, we've talked all about it. We've gone into how great it's been and how welcoming it's been. Since you've been a band, what has been like the highlight moment in the scene for you? What has been that highlight moment where this is the best thing that's happened to us so far? I want to make sure I say so far, because I don't want to say that's the best moment ever, because there's plenty of time and there's plenty more life left in Fight On Sight, where some of the most crazy things can happen, where hopefully in like 2025, you're going on a cross-Canadian, cross-US tour with Knocked Loose. Like, that would be awesome. But I want to know, what's the best thing that's happened to you guys so far?
In my opinion, it was our very first show.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
We got to open for Buried Alive. So that was our first show.
First show ever.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah. Big time pressure. And
a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And we had a really good time. It was one of those things where like we were all pretty nervous, and then like we opened, obviously. But like we got up on stage, and like I was like shaking. I was so nervous. And then as soon as like Hillary started he was playing like the opening riff. I can't remember. I think it was like the intro or whatever. Yeah. And then just like this huge smile came over my face, and I was like, yeah, like I'm ready. Like let's get it, kind of thing. And it was very cool. We had like there was a lot of people there, which was like not really surprising, but like that I think that show sold out, and it was like a 300 cap. So there was like I think like at least 150 kids there for like our first show, and like to like not to see us. They obviously weren't there to see us, but but they were there like from the beginning, which was nice because a lot of people will like stray in like through the night and stuff like that. But there was a good amount of people there, and like everybody seemed to really enjoy it, and I was just kind of like, this is really cool.
I think it lit a fire under our asses for sure. It was like we all got off stage and went, oh my God, I want to do that again forever.
Yeah.
For me, probably Montreal. Montreal showed us a lot of love. Good. We did a little run with Crosscheck and Bruiserweight in the summer, and I've never been to Montreal before, and they also have a super thriving scene out there. And they showed up. We played Foofs. It was so hot. It was so sweaty.
Hot. Oh God.
But it was really cool to see the amount of the love that we received, not just like as we were playing, but even like we went up a night early and we met up with like Tony and Ryan, and
went to the bar, did karaoke.
Like just there's a lot of love between Hamilton and Montreal, that's for sure. And then I think a close second, we played last month, and Dear E.
Oh,
the girls from Dear Evangeline were in our face singing along for like the entirety of Buried Alive, which was really
they knew
cool
every word, and it made me so happy. I was like, you guys just do it. Like I don't even need to be here.
You should take the mic, actually. Yeah, it was really cute.
I would have loved if you guys just dangled the microphone like, okay, here you go. Just sing. We're gonna basically do a insane collaborative cover on the fly right now. So we'll be playing it now. Go.
Well, it's like with Gavel. Whenever Gavel plays their last song, like when they played it Hold Your Ground, everybody dogpiled so hard that the mic cord broke, like ripped clean off the microphone. And then like there was just like everybody would just took the microphone. Like Kyle did none of the words himself. And I don't think he ever does for that song. I think the only time I've seen him do it was in Buffalo. Because we were in Buffalo, and like there was maybe like us, we knew the words. But yeah, no, that song, like that was crazy. But yeah, no, it's gang vocals are my favorite thing. I love when people come up and get the microphone. Like it gives me a chance to breathe, but then I'm also like, you like it enough that you know the words, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And at the same time, you're creating a moment for whoever is coming up and singing along with you, or taking the mic and singing on their own. Because that's something where they're going to go back that night and just think, I got to sing this song with one of the bands that I'm absolutely connecting with, and it's a song I'm absolutely in love with. I got to take that. I got to be a part of it, and the band let me be a part of it. You know, they're going to possibly tell their friends the next day. They're going to tell everyone on social media the next day, especially if someone got a video. Heck, they're going to go to work, and you're going to have, the corporate stiff say, oh, what did you do this weekend? I was, golfing, or I was at my kid's, baseball tournament. It's like, what did you do? Oh, I saw my favorite bands, and I literally sang on stage with them as aggressively as possible. So clearly there's a winner here in who had a better weekend, and it's going to be me.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's really nice.
I'll say, if you can't tell, usually that's what happens when I'm at work. It's like, work calls. It's like, oh, yeah, how's everyone's weekend? Yeah, everyone tells like the most normal stuff possible. They get to me. It's like, okay, what concert did you go to, and who'd you beat up today? I'm like, let me tell you some fun stories.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I went to work last Monday with 2 black eyes, and that was an interesting conversation with my boss. And I'm like my workplace is very cool. So immediately it wasn't like, who hurt you? Who do we have to beat up? It was, did you get in a mosh accident is what they called it. And I was like, yes, I got my nose broken, but I am fine. And they don't care. They're worried about my brain. He said, as long as my brain stays safe, we're good. So I can show up with black eyes or fun injuries, and they don't seem to mind.
Yeah, for me, I'll never forget. It was like the first day I showed up back at work, and it was I was singing Asking Alexandria, Day to Remember, and I broke my finger during Asking Alexandria, and then everyone's like, "Oh man, you broke your finger, man! You must have missed out on that whole entire show." And I literally looked at the camera, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I moshed with a broken finger for all of the day to remember. I was like, do you honestly think I was going to miss out on that? And everyone that I was working with, because it's all pretty much remote, they were looking at the cameras like, who is this guy? And why is he talking like this? And I had the whole entire like splint on here. And then they're like, yeah, so you're probably going to be off for shows. I'm like, no, I'm going to one on Friday. Like, I'm doing this again. We're just going to tape it up and we're just going to, whatever happens.
No, I had the exact same conversation because literally, like, I broke my nose Friday night during GASM, and then I turned around on the Monday and went to a local show here and was just like, please don't hurt my nose. I just moshed like this the whole time. So, yeah, I've had that conversation many times.
Hey, it's the things we do for the stuff we love, whether it's, moshing like this where just don't hurt my nose. Or for me, it was during that Day to Remember show, I literally had my hand like this. So I was like, or no, which hand was it? I think it was this one. So I was like pushing people I was like stiff arm with my left hand. Anytime I got hit here, I'm just like, well, the finger's not bad because it's like up against something. So I think I'm good. I mean, it didn't get any worse than it did. So I want to say I'm good to go. But who knows? If I end up breaking it again, I'll just be like, might have to remove that one to make sure it doesn't happen. It'll probably be like useless at that point. Then I'll be like, I only got 9 fingers in the pit. They're going to start calling me something weird because of that. But you know what? Whatever. At least people will be like, okay, that's another nickname to add to my little repertoire of crazy things that are going on. So one other thing I want to ask is, now that, we're coming to the end of 2023, 2024 is coming up. What are the plans for Fight On Sight to continue to grow and continue to, achieve your overall goals of being as big of a band as you possibly want to be? What are you guys going to be doing up in 2024? I want to get a little synopsis. If you know things that are happening and can say them, go for it. If not, just give us a little bit of teaser, because I want to get amped up so I can possibly like, okay, I have to go see Fight On Sight, even though I'm already thinking that right now. But like, I want to confirm it in my brain. So what's coming up in 2024 for Fight On Sight?
I know we've got a show. It hasn't been announced yet, but we're doing like a benefit show in January. Mm-hmm. And then I think like our main goal for next year is we want to try and get in
we want to travel outside of Ontario.
Yeah, we want to go to like different places in Canada, but we really want to get into the States like really bad. We've been like looking into like visa information and stuff like that. We're trying to reach out that way, because I know we get a lot of love from the States and stuff like that. And like anytime I've been to the States for shows, like each state is different, but like there's good scenes kind of wherever you go. So I would really, really like to go out there and just kind of see what the US has to offer. And like they have menthols and beer everywhere. So
yeah, Detroit's one of my favorite scenes, I think, to like be a show goer. I'd really like to play there. And I think probably more recording, more music.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff in the repertoire that's not tracked or out yet. So I think we're going to try to get that kind of all down. But yeah, I think most sure thing that's happening in 2024 is the benefit show for the dogs.
Yeah.
So we got the benefit show for sure, but then we also have the possibility of more new music, possibility of expanding outside Toronto and possibly coming to the States for some live shows. And if you do come to the States, I totally understand what you're saying too, because there are going to be places where they're going to have their own little scenes as well, but it's going to be something where wherever you go, that's kind of like closer, I'd say, towards the Canadian border, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. Like I know Buffalo pops off with a lot of this stuff, especially its close proximity. I know Detroit pops off. I know Chicago pops off. I know Milwaukee pops off because I'm from Milwaukee and I also travel down to Chicago. So I'm part of both of those scenes pretty heavily. And I know just stuff goes nuts. That's the best way to put it. Just stuff goes nuts. So anywhere kind of like in that like upper Midwest part of the United States, anything kind of like, Chicago, Detroit, maybe Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, stuff like that. You're going to get places where people are going to come out, people are going to go nuts, and people are just going to have a shit ton of fun. And especially with the kind of music that you're both making with Fight On Sight. Yeah. Like, I know this is going to hit with people, especially once they get their hands on the music for the first time. And even if they don't know it yet, they're going to.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
And even if it's something where, okay, because I know visa issues are always a problem. I've seen so many bands have so many different random issues with that, trying to get places and have to cancel tours because they weren't able to get over here, where it had a whole bunch of other issues with that. I know it's not, it's not the most 100% thing, but hopefully it happens, because I would love a chance to see you perform live in a little bit of an easier setting for me to travel to. But if I have to come to Canada, which I am planning on doing at some point in 2024, then so be it. I'll be there instead.
Nice. Welcome. Yeah. we got a place for you to come see us, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out something. Hopefully, I want to still see if I can talk to Rob from Rustin, because I know everything he does with Steel City. Let's see if I can pick a weekend and okay, can we just build a crazy ass show around that weekend? Just get a whole bunch of, promote it, just something crazy. Have something where someone's got a new album coming out or new songs coming out. Have just a whole, not necessarily a whole day thing, but all right, we got 8 bands on the bill. Let's just go nuts every step of the way. And then literally just during the day, interview everybody live, and then just keep promoting the scene as much as possible.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
I'm just going to be in his ear and be like, so can we do this? Can we do this? I'd be like, make it my Christmas present, even though I've only talked to you a couple of times. Make it my Christmas present.
No, that'd be very neat. I think it would be a good idea, even if you did it in a way where you're interviewing people and stuff like that there, but also maybe even doing how we did the flea market.
Yes.
Do a flea market and show and that kind of thing, because I think that went really, really well.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
Yeah, we do a lot of flea market type shows here, and we've done a lot of charity stuff where we do food drives and things, and then give back to Hamilton. The Hamilton scene's pretty special. I'm sure we could get something together for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, already. I like the sound of that. You know what? That's just that just makes me want to continue to promote the scene even more. Just continuing on this journey, as I think so far you're the 4th or 5th band I've brought on, but it's just going to keep growing. It's going to keep going more and more, because I want to put as much focus in on the scene as possible, given how positive it is and given how special it truly is. With anytime I talk to any band, anytime I talk to anybody that's in the scene, they just have nothing but positive things to say about it, and I learn something new every time about how it's getting more positive. Today, from both of you, I learned that, especially when it comes from a perspective of someone who's, wasn't necessarily allowed in the pit back in the day, when you said no clit in the pit, and now it's half women, half men. Holy crap, that is amazing. And now it's you're doing a lot of benefits, a lot of stuff to give back to the community. That's even better. It's mind-blowing. There's not a lot of scenes that'll even remotely think about that, but if you're pulling it out and you're doing it, that's just straight applause right there.
Yeah, Hamilton's a special place.
Yeah.
Proud to call it home.
I would be too. And I've got one more question before I wrap this up. It's something I asked Rob from Russ, and this is how I found out about Fight on Sight. And I found out about other bands the same way as well, like Bad Bet, like A Rock Pile, like Reality Night, a bunch of them. I've got a list all on here as well, and I want to add that list. So I'm going to ask both of you to give me 3 bands from the Canadian hardcore scene that you're absolutely in love with and you want to get more attention to them. So I want to hear 3. Give me 3. It can be 1 from each. And then a third one as a collective. It can be 2. It doesn't matter what it is, but I'm looking for 3 more suggestions. So let's get the people listening to more Canadian hardcore.
We talked about it before
we felt it coming.
Yeah, we were we're gonna have to pull only 3, and it's so hard to pick just 3 because I don't know, there's so many good bands happening right now. But what we settled on was I know Rob already said it, but Bad Bet. Yeah. Clearly, we both got the shirts on. So Bad Bet, Built on Blood. Built on Blood is
they're beat down, heavy, but the nicest dudes.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
They're sweethearts.
But yeah, no, definitely that's, if you're gonna get knocked in the head during a show, it's gonna be during their set. And sometimes then
by their vocalist.
Yeah. But and then this one's kind of,
it's a little
more hardcore adjacent.
Yeah, it's a little. I almost want to say metalcore-y. They're very kind of sludgy.
Yeah, I don't know. They had some good breakdowns in their new stuff though. I was listening to it and I was like, okay, I see you. But Ethereal Tomb. They're doing huge stuff for the Indigenous community, and they're just wonderful, wonderful people. But making amazing music at the same time. They're doing a little run with Bat Sabbath right now,
which is Cancer Bats.
Just Bat Sabbath. I don't really understand what it is. But yeah. Know them. So yeah, Bad Bet, Built on Blood, Ethereal Tomb.
Yeah.
I know it's tough. It's like I always say give me 3 because if I said give me suggestions, I would end up getting like 10 or 20 of them. And it's like, okay, well, which one do we go with? But that's also why I want to keep bringing in all these different bands. It's like every time I ask, give me 3, I'm getting 3 new ones all the time. Bad Bet's the only one that I've gotten like a second one on. That's the only one. Otherwise, it's always new bands. It's always bands I haven't heard of. And it gives me an opportunity to get to know more. It gives everyone else an opportunity to know more that doesn't really know much about the hardcore scene in Canada. Just more places to go, more places to expand, and more bands to get behind to be like, you know what? This scene is awesome. We want to get behind it. Here's a litany of bands to get behind it as well and just enjoy, because the way this scene is described is so incredibly cool and so incredibly positive. You would be you'd be silly not to want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
For real.
So we're gonna
do the thing.
Start a band, start a zine, start booking shows, like just get involved.
Yeah.
Talk to people, man. Like we might all seem scary and angry, but we're not.
We have like serious case of resting bitch face, but like I promise we're nice.
We're
people.
not assholes, I promise.
we may look tough, we may just want, pure violence at times, but it's all out of love.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Best way to describe it. Well, Hillary and Kenny, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, one thing I like to do is give my guests, which is both of you, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the episode. So the floor is yours.
Oh God.
Well, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. Listen to our music.
Listen to our music on Spotify or like any streaming platform. Check out Steel City Hardcore for more Hamilton hardcore.
Yeah.
Rob and Jordan doing some pretty cool things for the community right now, and
just be a part of your local scene. Enjoy it.
Get involved, and don't be afraid to get involved. Like I've been playing bass for a very long time, and it took me a very long time and a stern talking to from a few good friends to actually like go, okay, I want to do this. Don't be like me. Just get involved.
Yeah, don't wait forever.
Don't wait forever. Just do it, because like the amount of love and like the friends that I have made through doing this has been, I'm gonna sound cheesy again, life-changing.
We became friends because we like beating each other up in the pit. So and now we're here.
So it's just get involved, man, and don't be afraid to get involved.
Hey, I'm the same way. I've made a lot of friends just, going ape crazy in the pit, and they're just like, hey, we recognize that guy. And then we start talking, and I know their faces. I don't know their names until like the 5th show. And then all of a sudden, that's how we become friends. Every time we see each other, it's like, oh, hey, dude, what's up? How you doing? And we're all having a good time before the show starts. Then we go to beating each other up for the fun of it. So just go and do it. Take the leap of faith. If you want to go and do it, if you're hesitant about it, just go and do it. Trust us. It's going to be worth it. Absolutely going to be worth it. Now it's time for this podcast with 3 specific things. So they told you where to go and find them online. They told you to go and listen to their music. And of course, go check out Steel City Hardcore, because then you're going to know when more shows are happening around the whole entire scene in general. But you're going to want to make sure you follow along with this stuff and stream Fight on Sight's music. But instead of having to go and search all this stuff up yourself, because I know how much of a drag that can be, let me take all the hard work out of it. Let me be personal Google for you. Go to the description of the podcast where it says Find Fight on Sight online. Links and labels for social media where you can check out all their music and really get behind the band are going to all be down there for you. Links, labels, everything. I got you covered. So yeah, don't miss out on it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It saves us the trouble.
Exactly. See, I've already got this planned out. I'm already set for this. Now it's time for number 2. Whenever a guest in the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise that says, hey, I enjoyed having you on the podcast. I would love to continue to support the band, and I want to make sure that this happens. And this is how I like to do it. And you both absolutely hit on this. So when I get to see Fight on Sight live for the first time, which I will do at some point, I just don't know the day or time. That's when I say when, because it's going to happen. We're just not sure of the exact day or time yet. But when I do, I will go all Liam Neeson on Taken in some capacity, where I will look for you. I will pursue you. I will find you. And when I do, I will say hi. And also, first round's on me.
Yeah.
And if you have the Gremlin mode t-shirts out at that time, and I don't have one already, I will buy one right then and there.
We'll put one aside. One.
Yeah.
If you don't have a t-shirt, but if you have a sticker about it, I'm just going to take that sticker and put it on the back of my laptop.
Perfect.
And now it's time for number 3. As we bring this podcast to its official conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye because talking to you both was fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed it, absolutely loved it, and I want to continue to support Fight On Sight, so this will not be goodbye. That's way too final. I want to make sure I see you play a show. I made you a promise, and I would love to have you both back on the podcast again in the future, sometime in 2024, to kind of take a look back and see how far Fight On Sight has grown since, literally today. So this is not goodbye. That's way too final. This is I'll see you later.
Adios.
Woo! Well, folks, an interview with Kenedi and Hillary from the band Fight On Sight. Now it's time for Kevin's final thought. So when it comes to Canadian hardcore scene, I mean, we've interviewed a couple bands. We've interviewed Russ, we've interviewed Soul Pays, and we've interviewed Rockpile. And of course, we get a lot more still that we want to check out as well and bring to the podcast, especially Bad Bet after hearing about them being suggested for the second time in this whole entire realm. But this one was one that I was really excited for because not only is the music just really, really good that Fight On Sight is playing out, but we kept hearing about how positive the Canadian hardcore scene is. We kept hearing about how it's so welcoming for people from all across, from whatever gender you are, whatever, if you're a person of color, if you are part of the LGBTQ community, no matter who you are, that you are welcome here. And I'd always heard about that from Russ, from Soul Pays, from Rockpile. But again, it's all guys. Now I had a chance to hear from 2 women in the scene and see where their perspective was on this. And they just absolutely confirmed it with their own experiences and how it is so welcoming to be a part of that. I mean, how could you miss out on that? Why would you want to miss out on any of that? It is such a great thing that all I think about with this is, every time we talk about the Canadian hardcore scene, especially that Ontario scene, it is such a positive thing that I just get, it's infectious with how positive it is. I've known scenes and I've seen other scenes where it's maybe that positivity isn't fully there, but when that positivity is growing, I mean, they're giving back to the community. They're putting together, flea markets, putting together, food drives and whatnot at some of these shows. They're actively being parts of the community. And that's not something I see every single day from a lot of different local scenes. If that is, a thing that absolutely connects with you, this is why I want to put such a big spotlight on the Canadian hardcore scene. It is accepting of everybody. It is a place where everyone can feel safe. And at the exact same time, it is something that is going to have a positive impact, not only on the lives of people that are in the scene, but also the lives of everyone in the community around them as well. It's a great thing. So that's why you should be a part of it. And make sure you guys, everybody out there, are getting into Fight On Sight. Go to the link description of the podcast. It says find Fight On Sight online. Links and labels for everything where you can find them online, find their music, stream it. Everything is going to be down there. I got you covered. Also, make sure to follow along with the Chord Progression Podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button right down here if you're on YouTube, or hit follow or subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. New episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday. If you're on YouTube, though, you get the reaction videos every single Friday as well. Also, make sure you like these podcast episodes as well because it helps push us in the algorithm, and I really want to thank you for that. Thank you, Kenedi. Thank you, Hillary from Fight On Sight. I really appreciate it, and I will be seeing you live at some point soon. On that note, that's it for you guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know I end every single one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya!